Good evening, everyone. This is Veer Maheshwar Charitable Trust Latur, MS India, organizing daily international webinar series. In this series, we are listening from the speakers, those who are invited from India and abroad, and we are listening from them on various topics every day, which will cover and which are covering the subjects related to education, law, technology, health, environmental science, mindfulness, like this. Today we welcome our today's speaker, Mallika Rao madam, who is executive coach for the leaders navigating high pressure transitions from Greater Hyderabad. And her topic is Speak with Impact, how to speak like a leader and influence. This topic is useful to all. We mostly are teachers, but we have to know about the Speak with Impact. I request you, ma'am, you can start your speech. I welcome from my organization, from all the participants, I welcome all of you and the participants, those who are joined here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I don't use Google Meet so often, so I do not know how this works, but I hope all of you are listening and there is a way to say hello. Namaskaram, and I'm Mallika Rao. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you all today.
Camera is off, madam, your.
Okay, so 1 second, please.
Square symbol after that mic. It is off from camera, off camera. First is mic, second is the camera. If you click to, it is converted into on.
Okay, 1 second. I'm just. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we will hearing you.
Are you able to see me?
Not now, but just we wait for the because of internet connection, I think. But the first symbol is mic, second symbol is camera. If you click on that, it will be opened or on or off. Yes, ma'am. Please continue. Your mic is off, first symbol.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Actually, it's end of the day for me, and I've been stuck. I've been stuck in the traffic as well. But thank you so much for waiting here. So today's topic is speak with impact, speak like a leader, and influence. Now, how many of you actually believe how you speak and how you communicate is very, very critical for your success? Is there a way you can raise your hand? Or put it in the chat box if there is chat available. How many of you believe that it is important to speak and you can create impact, you can create influence, and it is critical for your success? And as I'm told, all of you are teachers, so you know your words are more powerful in shaping young minds and shaping their personality. So the future generation is practically dependent on your words and how you communicate. And especially in these times where we become more sensitive, even kids have become so much more sensitive. We have to be really watchful because of diverse backgrounds we all come from. and the children, the parents, and even your workforce, they're all coming from diverse fields. So, therefore, how you speak becomes that much more important because it is not just to actually impart or giving information. It is also more about connecting with each other, right? And it should also communicate emotional safety and security so that people are able to communicate back with you and they're able to connect with you and take those conversations forward. So I'm a coach and I have been working. Oh, thank you so much, Preeti. Yes, speaking is very important for all. So today I want to share with you all just three ideas that will help you improve your communication. So I have started in corporate world about 25 years back. And when I did, there was no formal education on how to speak and how to connect with others and the right way of speaking. Now, you might think speaking is, we speak from the time we are 1 or 2 years old, right? Why should anybody teach us how to speak? Something happens the moment you shift into a workspace. And the big change then happens when you go from the first level employee to a leader. Now, the moment you become a leader, people skills become the topmost skill that will decide your success, which means as a leader, people are looking up to you, people are following you, and they also have to follow in order for you to be successful leader, right? And for this to happen, apart from few other things like your authority, the job that you bring, the expertise, one of the most important components is communication. And I felt the same when I stepped into leadership roles too. Now, a lot is being spoken about language, about accent, about fluency. I do not know now, but at least 20, 30 years back, we used to have these spoken English institutes where people used to learn. And back then, there was an understanding, or at least the belief, that good communication skills means speaking in English, that you know English. But my professional journey has taught that good communication skills does not necessarily mean English language or speaking in English. What it basically means is to use any language that is important for that scenario, to use it effectively and impactfully. You could be speaking in Hindi or you can speak in any regional language, but still be able to communicate and connect. Especially in the past 5 years, I'm seeing this a lot where we as Indians, especially, are embracing our language and different dialects also, and speaking them with pride. So, today I'm not going to teach you how to speak English better. The idea is to go a step back and not about language, not about grammar, not about sentence formation. If you're here, you're listening to us, it also means that you already know all these things. आपने पढ़ा है, लिखा है, समझा है, आपको पता है, and then you have communicated enough in your life to know how to do the basics. A basics के लिए you don't need me. What I'm sharing with you here is how to be remembered. So there are three aspects of communication which is absolutely important. So if you have a pen and paper, if you have notes, please take that down. In these times, if you're talking about winning in communication. Have you ever walked out of a meeting or some gathering thinking that I said all things right, but it didn't land? Or you may have heard somebody said, they said such wonderful things, but samajh mein nahi aaya. I don't understand what it is. So, speaking doesn't necessarily mean you're clever, you're smart. And speaking with impact does not necessarily mean to show that how smart you are. It is when you speak, people are connecting. That means decisions get made, energy shifts, the room settles down. So, like I said, there are three simple aspects in order for you to be an influential speaker. Number one.
ಏನ್ ಬಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಜಲ್ ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಹಿ.
Hi, Pooja. Can you put yourself on mute? Okay, or there you go. Okay, good. So there are three aspects that will make you memorable speaker, regardless of your language, regardless of who you're talking to. Number one, always remember the first step to good communication is calm. Have you ever noticed that when you're nervous, when you're anxious, when you're angry, when you are disturbed, it immediately impacts your communication? Even if you're prepared, the way you communicate does not go in a flow. That's because a lot of people also believe that good communication means you need to know your points, ratta maro, you know all those details, and then you repeat it, and that's good communication. And then they forget what is happening behind. That means what is happening in your head, nobody can see. Have you ever noticed that people, you meet people, they are saying the right things, they're doing the right things, but still you feel something is off? Sometimes you see that they're speaking sweetly, they're saying the right things to you, but you also feel कि it didn't land properly with me. समझ में नहीं आया इस बंदे ने क्या किया या क्या बताया, या वो बोल कुछ रहा है पर मुझे महसूस कुछ और हो रहा है. Because we as human beings, we can read energy. If somebody is nervous, regardless of how smartly they are talking, it actually comes across. So the first thing you always do when you're getting into an important conversation or when you're getting into a classroom is always compose yourself. First, calm your mind, relax. Ask yourself, what is that I want to communicate? And when it comes to communication, again, ask yourself, it is not a dialogue, right? There is a purpose for everything that we do. If I am talking today, I want you all to understand the nuances of communication and improve your communication at the end of the day. Correct? So when everything you say has a purpose, you need to ask yourself, what is my purpose for this right now? Am I prepared to deliver that? And for that, you need to have a calm mind. You need to calm yourself down no matter what is going on in your mind. There are many techniques in order for you to calm yourself down. One of the techniques that I follow is deep breathing, pranayama. Now, it doesn't have to be elaborate one. Even a 1 minute of deep breathing, it actually helps your mind and body to calm down. So the first step of any good communication skill is this, being calm. Because when you're calm, you're composed. It shows in your body, it shows in your language, it shows in your posture, it even shows in the words, how you're saying it. You're not going to ramble or you're not going to go very slow. There's no or pauses, right? So number one is calm. The second step is clarity. Like I just said, you need to be very clear what is the purpose of your communication. What is that I want the other person to understand? Not what is that I want to say. What is that I want the other person to understand? And from that, what is the outcome I want from this conversation? I have a Japanese friend. Her name is Asako. Every time I tell her I started a new project, she would ask me, what is the purpose? It is a Japanese way of living, I guess. But when you ask that question to yourself, what is the purpose of this? You will actually become very clear. Then you're not going to ramble. Then you're not going to talk what is not value add. So get clear. And when I say clear, also understand the situation. Because clarity is not just about what is the meeting about. Clarity also means emotional awareness. You're emotionally aware where you are, who are you meeting, what is the meeting for. You're aware of yourself, you're aware of the people around. This is situational awareness. This is what is emotional intelligence, isn't it? So, whenever the next step is being having that clarity, having that emotional and situational awareness, that will help you deliver your message with more meaning, with more purpose. So the first one was calm, the second was clarity. A tool that I use whenever I want to deliver important conversations, like important messages, like today, is I write it down. I ask myself, who am I talking to? So, Dr. BETKAR also, I asked him, who are going to attend this session? And where are they from? Because that cultural awareness is also important. If you're speaking to a South Indian, there's certain nuances that they have to be aware of. If you're speaking to some North Indian, when I say North Indian, could be from Punjab, could be from Delhi, their cultural nuances are going to be a little different. So, a practice that I have personally, it might seem very simple, but very important, is I write it down. I write down all those details. And then I also write the message in one sentence. What is the bottom line? What is that one bottom line I want to create here? And so that journaling is very important. If it is a long lecture or something, you can also have post-its like this. Make 1, 2, 3 points. That will also help you. Now, we spoke about calm. We spoke about clarity. The last one, which is also the very important one, is confidence. Confidence in how you're speaking, your posture, your body language is very, very important. They say there are several statistics around it, but they say 70% of your confidence or your communication is about body language. We communicate most of it through our body, through our eyes, through our facial expressions, through our posture, through our hands, how we stand, and how we are doing those micro expressions. Those are all contribute to it. So it is important to cultivate the confidence. Now, whenever we talk about confidence, a lot of people think that confidence perhaps is about being a subject matter expert or nailing the public speaking skills. Those are nice, but confidence actually comes down to just one thing. It is self-trust. It is trusting yourself, not doubting. If you have ever noticed, a lot of people actually sound nervous, or probably it's hard to trust them, because they would be doubting themselves, they would be criticizing themselves, and they perhaps are not sure about their own skills. And that comes across as confidence to a lot of people. And versus those who are self assured and who believe in themselves, the way they come across is very, very different, right? So instead of getting lost into the big definitions of confidence, if you can remember just this one thing, that confidence is self trust. Do I trust myself enough that I could communicate this? Am I clear about it? Am I calm? Is my body calm? Is my mind calm? And it's interestingly, it is that domino effect. The moment you're calm, your mind is calm, your body is calm, it translates, it gives way to clarity. And once you're calm, you have clarity, confidence naturally comes forth. So do that self trust process and remind yourself again and again that you're doing good job, and also remember your wins, remember all those achievements and accomplishments you have been able to gain throughout the journey, because it is also noticed, and research backs this up, that we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. That means 60 to 70,000 thoughts cross our mind every day, whether you're conscious of it or not. Now, the interesting part is about 70 to 90% of those are negative thoughts. Even more important and interesting is most of the thoughts are about themselves. There's a saying in psychology that if you say the same things that you tell yourself, yeah, if you say those same things to somebody else, you will be left with no friends, which basically means how self-critical we tend to get. So you don't need anybody outside to beat you up. You don't need anybody outside to criticize you or to put you down. Most often, we do that job very well. So do a small self-reflection to understand which of these categories you fall into. Are you unconscious about your challenges in communication, or you're overly self-critical that you don't allow yourself to relax so that you have clarity and you can communicate well? So I also about body language, remember? So remember, whenever you are communicating with someone, always look them in the eye. Make sure your posture is not defensive or offensive. Defensive is crossing your hands or legs or turning away from that person, not having eye contact. Or it could be, it could also be where you're shrinking a bit. And you might see, and especially in where you're feeling a little intimidated, we tend to hunch a little, we look down a little, our entire posture compresses, right? That also is a challenge. Be okay with taking some space and communicating at that level. So here are the three things that I mentioned. One is calm, second is clarity, third is confidence. And it goes in that sequence. If you are mindful about these three aspects, your communication will improve exponentially. Very often when I talk about this, because I also coach leaders in the nuances of leadership communication and executive presence. And whenever we talk about these three concepts, the first reaction I get all of them is it's very simple, Mallika. It is very simple unless till you practice it. Yeah, simple doesn't mean useless. And when you practice these simple things over a period of time, you'll actually see big changes. So in my program of 3 months, all we do is just go deeper into each of these subjects. And then by the end of it, they would have practiced it so much that it becomes a second nature. And that's all we all have to do. Just making sure that you're calm, you have clarity, and you're coming across with confidence. That's all it needs for a great communication to begin with. So I hope that has helped. Now, if you have questions, please ask me. I'd be happy to answer.
How to deal with the difficult or too much negative people?
Very good question. If you're on LinkedIn, please follow my. Today, I have written an article about it. How to communicate when you're triggered. So, when it comes to dealing with difficult people, the best way is because whenever you're working in a team, you have no control on who's going to be part of it. So, the best way to start is self-regulation, self-management. Because if the only person you're in control of is yourself. So this is why they say that always make sure you're calm and composed so that you don't react to these people. I've seen that with difficult people, especially, the more you engage with them, the more you empower them. If you're talking about in your personal space, then I would say be very mindful about who is in your personal space, and you don't have to engage in every battle you're invited to. But if it is workplace, a best way to engage with difficult people is to keep the communication formal. Don't engage in one-on-one conversations like that. You can have email conversations so that everything is recorded and you can have the conversation there. So there is a email trail to manage that. Did I answer that? Who asked this question? Can you please unmute and...
Yeah. You answer the question.
Dr. Prashant,
yeah, ma'am. Sometimes what happens when working in organization, some people are very highly, they have very high nuisance value.
Mm-hmm.
So to deal with them is very, very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, so that is where it is important because I work with leaders and office politics is a given thing. That's why I'm saying that keep all the communication formal and if possible on record. Don't engage with one-on-one verbal conversations with these people because you would just be expending your energy.
Thank you, Professor. If anyone wants to discuss, they can discuss.
Any other question?
The participants are requested to unmute and they can discuss on today's topic with our speaker. The feedback link is available in the chat box and the participants can fill the feedback link.
नमस्ते मैडम, आपका उद्बोधन बहुत ही अच्छा सुंदर रहा। मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि बहुत से जनरल देखा है, चाहे कुछ मतलब शिक्षक हो या भी स्टूडेंट्स भी होते हैं, तो बहुत बार जो स्टेज फोबिया होता है हमें, तो उसको दूर करने के लिए कैसे क्या कुछ उपाय किए जा सकते हैं? धन्यवाद।
तो आप प्लीज हेल्प मी अंडरस्टैंड, क्या आप पूछ रहे हैं कि स्टूडेंट्स को कैसे प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए पब्लिक स्पीकिंग के लिए, या टीचर्स को कैसे प्रिपेयर होना है पब्लिक स्पीकिंग के लिए?
मैं मैडम कह रहा हूँ कि मतलब बच्चे भी होते हैं, कुछ टीचर शुरुआत में जो होता है कि जब वो बोलने के लिए खड़े होते हैं तो एक थोड़ा सा है ना कंपन जैसा है शुरुआत में होता है। बहुत बार जनरल ऐसे हैं तो वो बोल नहीं पाते, या फिर वो जो है बोलना चाहते हैं वो ढंग से बोल नहीं पाते, एक्सप्रेस नहीं ढंग से नहीं कर, तो उसको कैसे, जो एक फियर जैसा होता है उसको कैसे दूर किया जा सकता है, उसके लिए क्या किया जाना चाहिए? धन्यवाद।
So research says the number one phobia in the world is public speaking. There is a reason for it, right? क्योंकि जब भी हम बात करने के लिए और we want to share our thoughts, we fear judgment, and that is there in everyone, because nobody wants to come across as incompetent or yeah, like a fool, right? So one way of doing working as a teacher is creating that psychological safety in the classroom. So where there are no judgments passed, because whenever I work with schools and we have something called listening circles, तो जहाँ पर we ask students to get up and share their opinion about a certain topic. और हमारे यहाँ सिर्फ एक रूल होता है कि कोई उसे क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करेगा. You will be sharing the positive thing that you have noticed in that conversation. So, two things we are doing. We are encouraging everybody to share their thoughts and opinions. And by that, we say कि आपके opinions matter करते हैं. Second one is no criticism and just giving the positive aspect from what you have learned from it. जब हम ये repeatedly करते हैं, we are also teaching children that it is okay to share your thoughts and it is not okay to criticize. Regardless of कैसे भी बोले. So these small things will actually create a lot of psychological safety in the classroom. But other than that, I also tell leaders when they do this public speaking, go on the stage, it is fearful. The best way of it is doing the breathing exercise to calm themselves down before they go on the stage. That also immediately helps them calm their mind.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम.
Thank you.
Thank you, Surya Prakash sir. Now,
just
if anyone want to discuss,
very good
yes,
evening.
Purti ma'am.
I just want to add something in it, Surya Prakash, if you are there. Sometimes it's good to be patient listener as a teacher too. आप अगर टीचर हैं तो it's good to be the patient listener too. हम बहुत जल्दी करते हैं and we became as a decision maker. बच्चे का जो स्टेज एक्सपोजर है वहीं से हिंडर होता है. When I was in my 4th standard, one of my teachers told me a story. मुझे लगता है that works over here. एक टीचर ने बच्चों को होमवर्क दिया एंड पूरे वीक में 5 दिन उसने सिखाया that when we are using I, we have to use am with it. I am a boy, I am a girl, or I am doing good, or something like this. And everybody just grasped it. And on Saturday, he had given one homework for the Monday class that you have to frame few sentences with I. Everyone was so happy. सबने उसको frame किया and they were back in the class on Monday. So when one student started, after 3 or 4 students, I think his roll number, he told me 5th or 6th roll number was there. तो he started with I is. जैसे ही उसने I is बोला, the teacher just stopped him and she shouted, कि आप क्या बोल रहे हैं? तो लड़का एकदम शांत हो गया, but he was a naughty guy. तो एकदम से शांत होने के बाद again he started with I is. Again teachers called him. The same process happened 3 times. The principal was around that room. He entered in the room and he asked, suddenly what happened? Why this child is shouting and you are also shouting in the same classroom? So the teacher told the whole story ki haan bhai aise hua, and I taught them for a week that we have to use am with I and he's using I is. Then the principal, who was a patient listener, he listened it quietly and now he said ki ab sab chup rahenge, whatever he wants to speak, let him speak. Ab aap us line mein se jo galti hai, just tell me. The boy said, I is the 9th alphabet in alphabetic series. I is a pronoun. Now what's wrong in it? And he said the third statement, I is a consonant. Teacher just stopped. I is not a consonant. I is a vowel. That was the correction. But prior to that, the two sentences were perfectly correct or the perfectly okay. So sometimes it's good to be the patient listener so that they may feel confident about it. And we are also, as we always say, that learning is a continuous process. So we have to learn with these children also. And that works in the communication process, as the ma'am told that we have to do like, but it's also a fact कि कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स सबकी वैसी नहीं होती जैसे आप सोचें या मैं सोचूं एज द मैम इज स्पीकिंग और आई यूज्ड टू स्पीक एट डायस पर हाँ जो बिल्कुल नहीं बोलता समटाइम्स इट्स गुड टू बी द पेशेंट लिसनर टू ब्रेक दैट stage phobia and that always works. Thank you.
Very well said. Yeah, I totally agree.
Thank you, Supriti Madam. And if anyone want to discuss, they can unmute. Otherwise, we will conclude here. So thank you, Mallika Madam. It's a very useful topic for us. And the tips you have given with your experience, because you are a certified coach and also working in the same field. So your experience definitely helpful to us. What tips you have given for confidently speaking on the stage in front of any type of the participants? So this will be very helpful to us, and we definitely use these tips so that we will do something good as per we are doing before. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Preeti ma'am, if you want to discuss.
गुड इवनिंग मैम.
Good evening, Preeti.
मैम मेरा एक बस क्वेश्चन है. जैसे आजकल स्कूल या कॉलेज में, कॉलेज के संदर्भ में है मेरा प्रश्न. कॉलेज के इन्वायरमेंट में जैसे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स है और जो भी मतलब स्टाफ कलीग होते हैं, तो उसमें कम्युनिकेशन गैप मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है. आई थिंक ये कह सकते हैं कि बहुत लोग मतलब खुल के बात नहीं करना, जैसे हर चीज़ को छुपाना और कोई भी चीज़ मतलब ये बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब इस तरह का सेल्फनेस मतलब बढ़ता जा रहा है, गैप बढ़ता जा रहा है. तो इसको कैसे मतलब इससे कैसे ये किया जाए? क्या मतलब आपका क्या राय है इसमें? क्या ये इन्वायरमेंट चेंज हो रहा है इस तरह से?
तो आप जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं, you're talking about interpersonal communication. It is building that rapport and informal communication with your colleagues, है ना? तो the same thing that I was talking to you earlier about psychological safety, because the big challenge that every one of us experience, regardless वो 7 साल का बच्चा हो या 70-year-old gentleman, what happens is that there is a fear of judgment, the fear of criticism, the fear that somebody is going to point fingers. I think in coaching conversations हमको सिखाया जाता है, क्योंकि the most important aspect to create a good environment where people are able to express themselves is creating psychological safety, which means that you're not judging them, you're not jumping to conclusions. So to add to what Supriti ma'am said earlier, listening is a very beautiful concept. On another day, if we all ever have, we can talk about it. Whoa, it's a lesson in itself. But my point is just to have create more avenues or opportunities for people to come together and have conversations. क्योंकि जैसे आपने ठीक बोला है, every time I see people have some time, वो अपने phones में या laptops में busy हो जाते हैं. तो if the schools and organizations and institutes also create these pockets of interactions where everybody is coming together and having conversation with each other, that will be very helpful. And any change must begin from you. जैसे गांधी जी बोलते हैं, be the change you want to see. अगर आप if you want somebody to open up to you, you need to open up to them too. And we need to have those informal conversations with people. And the beauty with India is this. I have lived in 4 different countries. What you see here in India is that we don't mind asking questions कि आप कैसे हो, सब ठीक है, या किसी के चेहरे पे थोड़ा उदासी दिखता है तो तबीयत ठीक है, खाना खाया, या all is well or not. And that is so openly accepted also, right? आजकल problem ये है कि हम लोग थोड़ा busy हो जाते हैं, ये question, we don't engage in that. So the one thing is start creating opportunities for this informal communication. And second is there is something called a Pareto principle, which is one of my favorite concepts. If you apply listening to it, I tell my clients, leaders that I work with, to apply this 80-20 rule in your communications and conversations also, which means 80% listen, 20% talk. Interpersonal skills भी कम, वो communication भी कम इसलिए हो गया है. Everybody is busy to express and not listen to the other person. तो वो बंदे का बात खत्म भी नहीं हुआ है. We are already ready. तो we are waiting for other person to stop so we can talk. तो अगर सच में वो कम्युनिकेशन क्रिएट करना है, साइकोलॉजिकल सेफ्टी क्रिएट करना है, तो वी शुड बी विलिंग टू लिसन एंड वी शुड बी विलिंग नॉट टू जज पीपल फॉर व्हाट दे आर शेयरिंग.
थैंक यू मैम. थैंक यू.
Moni ma'am, welcome.
Yes. Hanji. So actually, I wanted to add what Miss Mallika actually said. Preeti, आपके लिए किसी when somebody is listening, हम किसी की अगर बात सुन रहे हैं, तो हम किस मकसद से बात सुन रहे हैं? Like what's the reason of listening is very important. हम किसी की बात सुन रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें जवाब देना है, या हम किसी की बात सुन रहे हैं कि हमें उन्हें समझना है. You know, that's a very important concept. हमारे अंदर हमेशा क्या होता है कि हम बहुत सिलेक्टिव लिसनिंग करते हैं. हमें जो सुनना है हम सिर्फ वही सुनते हैं. वहाँ सबसे मेजर गैप आता है इंटरपर्सनल स्किल का, जो मैम समझा रही थी. आई थिंक करेक्ट मी मैम इफ आई एम गोइंग रॉन्ग. तो आई थिंक द मेजर इशू है कि हम जब किसी की बात सुनते हैं ना, हम सुनने से ज्यादा एक्साइटेड होते हैं उनको जवाब देने के लिए. उस वजह से बहुत बार जो एक्चुअल कॉन्टेक्स्ट होता है वो कहीं खो जाता है. तो इट इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट कि लिसनिंग बेहतर हो, केवल जवाब देने के लिए नहीं बल्कि समझने के लिए. और जितना ज्यादा हम वो कर पाएंगे, उसी के बेसिस पे हमारा ये जो कम्युनिकेशन गैप लोगों के बीच में इस समय बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ रहा है, वो इम्प्रूव हो सकेगा.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to
say.
Very
well said. So basically listen to understand rather than listen to reply. Or I would say this could be a little unpopular opinion, but if you really want to improve your communication skills, be genuinely interested in people. genuinely interested in
बट मैम सीनियर
relationship.
जूनियर का मैम मेरा कहना था कि सीनियर जूनियर जब हो जाए तो उसमें क्या करना, कैसे उसको फॉलो करेंगे? जैसे मैं सबसे जूनियर मतलब ज्वाइन की हूँ और मेरे से मतलब 5 लोग सीनियर है, तो ये फीलिंग को कैसे मैं जज कर पाऊंगी? ये प्रॉब्लम है। ठीक है, मैं सुनूंगी, बट जहाँ सीनियर जूनियर की फीलिंग हो वहाँ मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ? ये मेरा था बस।
That is true. Hierarchy is reality, unfortunately, in many of the cases here. But again, if you're genuinely interested in the person, it's not about hierarchy anymore. आप समझ रहे हैं, जब आप इनफॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हैं, फॉर्मल नहीं, फॉर्मल की बात हम नहीं कर रहे हैं, देन यू विल हैव टू फॉलो सर्टेन प्रोटोकॉल्स. अगर सीनियर्स है उनको सर्टेन प्रोटोकॉल्स होते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के हिसाब से. बट इफ यू टॉकिंग अबाउट वन ऑन वन कनेक्शन, then you need to find small informal avenues to have this conversation and connection with them. But having said that, communication is a two-way process. So you also have to be willing to give people space to communicate with you. कभी हावी नहीं हो सकते हैं, or we cannot feel entitled to have certain relationships or communication styles informally. Are you there?
Thank you, Preeti ma'am, Monica ma'am, Moni ma'am, and Supriti ma'am, by having a good discussion, fruitful discussion. And we listened a best session today, which is useful for us. I'm thankful from my organization and also thankful from all participants. And you will be invited here in future as per your available time. Because I was waiting, I think last year I have messaged you about the speech. But in this year, we got this opportunity. So thank you, ma'am, accepting our invitation, joining here and expressing the views of you on the topic, which are definitely helpful to all the teachers and the participants, those who are joined here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. If you're on LinkedIn, just follow the articles, please. I wish I could explain everything, but it's not possible to say that in 20-30 minutes. So I do write smaller pieces. Perhaps that will help you all in your communication skills. I'm still learning, just like you all. So do share your experiences. Wishing you all the best. बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ आके. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.